Good afternoon. It's 2:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Thursday, June 27, 2019. Let's take a look at Litecoin. Wow. I'd like to know who's still dumping in this market. Let's see. Let's take a look at the figures. Let's take a look at the RSI. Okay, here goes your 4-hour RSI from Binance, since Coinbase doesn't provide those useful tools. 2083. Okay, I don't see the RSI ever that low since this trading pair came on Binance. Okay, I like to know if you're Coinbase and you got your crack investigative squad, you know, your hall monitors of the exchange. What constitutes unusual activity to the staff of Coinbase? I might as well just be humorous about this. This is like being told, you got to watch your kids, see if they're using drugs, maybe they suffer some kind of mental anguish. And you walk into the room and say, "How you doing, son?" And the kid's doing, "I'm okay." And you look and you see a heroin needle sticking out of his arm. And you say, "Well, glad you're okay. Nothing to see here. See you later." You just walk out. In what reality does Coinbase work in where they cannot see unusual activity like this RSI is underwater? This is like finding the Titanic. You gotta notice it. Look at this dip. I'd like to know if you prohibit manipulation, how does Coinbase, who's monitoring their own books, they're self-policing, how do they see manipulation? How do they even know what it is if they can't notice this staring at you straight in the face? So what I've learned, right, in this market, right, there's one market maker. I have it on the letter from Coinbase. There's one market maker for all the trading pairs on Coinbase. One, which is risky in itself. On that, the Coinbase was bragging and comparing themselves to Nasdaq. Coinbase. There goes a news flash. Nasdaq has, on average, 14 market makers on one security, not one market maker on all securities. And why? You ask anybody who works in Nasdaq, we want to ensure there's ample liquidity at all times, in all cases, in all conditions. Okay? So now what happens is you got a market maker. He has umpteen coin, Bitcoin and Litecoin, but he has a finite amount of cash, say 150 million, that he has to spread across all of these trading pairs on the fiat side. So now what happens is, if you notice, if you got a good eye, you can go back and check the graphs. Litecoin took off and stopped dead at June 12th. And what happened to Bitcoin on June 12th? It started rocketing it up. So what they did is Litecoin couldn't be allowed to go rocket ship with Bitcoin because the market maker has a set amount of liquidity, okay, and cash. So now he's going to have a hard time just doing Bitcoin. So what he's going to have to do is sit on Litecoin's price and hopefully be able to ride this Bitcoin wave and service the liquidity for this rapid rise in Bitcoin price. When Bitcoin's price rapidly rises up like that, you're going to have to use more of your liquidity capital, your cash, to cover each trade, as obviously the price of the coin is now at a higher per coin than it was before. So you're going to use a larger per capita of your reserve cash for your liquidity per trade. Okay? So what's going to happen is eventually if the price keeps going up parabolic, so is the demand for liquidity is going to go up parabolic. And then sooner or later, what's going to happen is if you're providing liquidity and you're the only market maker here, you're going to run out of cash and you're going to run out of coin. All right? And I know that happened because prior to the movement of the 8800 coin, which was the market maker dumping on the market because his liquidity was exhausted from the parabolic move of Bitcoin, they had no choice but to dump the market down, and the source of the dump came from Coinbase. The source of the dump was the market maker. Why? Because his liquidity ran dry. He just basically had no more cash funds available or coin to continue to service this market. You might ask, how do you know that? It's easy. About the last week when he moved the 8800 coin, what did they do? They They had rampant freezing of people's accounts across the board. You could not buy, you could not withdraw your cash. The only thing you could do was sell your current coin, which they were willing to buy because he was short coin to begin with. So they ran out of coin, they ran out of cash. The only solution was we have to dump the market so that the liquidity could be restored. Okay? And they dumped the 8800 coin, they dumped everything. Everybody started selling, triggering stop losses. They started generating cash from the sale of these coins, and they're buying coin on the cheap, and they're restoring his cash reserves for the liquidity. This is why we had this dump. This is why it originated from here. Now, this market maker is notorious on Litecoin. Okay, he knows he has a fixed amount of cash reserves to provide liquidity. So what does he do to ensure that his cash reserves will cover his liquidity for the day on Litecoin? He takes some of his cash and some of his coin. He puts up two same-size market trades, and he pins the price between those two trades. Why? In an effort to preserve his cash reserves that he's generating his liquidity from. So what we have here last week was that the parabolic Bitcoin move crippled Litecoin. It was purposely crippled. It was hobbled from going up because there was no possible way he could provide liquidity for two coins in the short term, and there was no way he could provide the long-term parabolic move of Bitcoin, so they had to dump the market down. So it was manipulated. In the context of Coinbase's crack team, I'd like to know what does it take for you to notice there's manipulation in your books? What did it take? That they're still dumping and it's on a record RSI low? That should tell you that there's something funny going on. Also, when you go here, everything was green except Litecoin. Litecoin for 14 days was in a red state. Okay? That should tell you what the whole market's moving up. Why is Litecoin in a negative state for 14 days? For 14 days. Litecoin usually follows Bitcoin up in a parabolic move. Litecoin should have took off too. But again, the market maker has a finite number of funds, and both in coin and cash, and in no way that he can provide the liquidity for two parabolic movements of two separate coins. That's why you had people who going to try to withdraw their cash from Coinbase were getting, you can't move your cash out. Why? We had some kind of accident. What do you mean accident? Well, that's what we had. We had an accident, so you cannot buy coin with your cash, or you cannot move your cash out of the account. But hey, you could sell those coins that you got there. We'll take them off your hand. That just tells me there was no technical data loss or anything. This was being shut down because they didn't have liquidity anymore. And the only way they could fix it was that 8,800 coin dump that came into Coinbase and cascaded everything down. So now everything's sold off. He replenishes his cash reserves. He's buying coin on the cheap, and then he returned. This is why I said it's dangerous to have only one market maker. Okay? But Coinbase only wants one market maker because he does what they want him to do. He controls the price. He's a price fixer. He's a market maker. We all know it. We all know there's manipulation. We all know who's doing the manipulation. It's been proven. If he puts up, any trader that puts up 2 trades he doesn't tend to exercise of large volume, we all know what they're for. Let's be realistic. So he's no longer a market maker. He's a market maker. He ran out of liquidity, and then he was forced to bring the price down because Bitcoin was running away. They got caught with their pants down when it came to liquidity. They couldn't meet the liquidity, and they forced the market down to preserve their liquidity. They robbed everybody. It's that simple, people. Sorry, all you guys doing your technical analysis, you're leaving out one of the biggest parts of this. If the exchange does not have enough the exchange market maker does not have enough liquidity, it basically brings trading to a standstill. You understand? So they have to dump the market down in order to improve the liquidity conditions on behalf of the market maker at the cost of the clients that trade on this platform. You'd have to be friggin' Stevie Wonder if you couldn't see that there's unusual activity in these order books. That's all I have to say, people. Be careful. These guys at Coinbase, I got their number.